Hello, everybody, and welcome back to.
Shut the smut up.
So we filmed an episode before, and
It was really inappropriate.
yeah, it probably will never see the light of day.
It was just for us. Just for us.
So we'll call that point 5, and this will be episode 1.
Yeah.
So my name is Dallas.
My name is Carly.
This is Murphy.
There will probably be dogs squeaking and making noises in the background.
Probably.
Yes.
But welcome to our first video of Shut the Smut Up.
Where we're just going to discuss books because we love it.
Agreed. I was really lucky, and I'm thankful that I was able to find somebody that lived near me and that I know that is into books like this. So Carly, her beautiful self, is here for all of my bookish shit.
I love it. It's fun. I enjoy it.
It is fun to be able to talk to you about these shit.
Yes, it is. I enjoy it. What are we talking about today?
So our first one is going to be about indie author Rebekah Sinclair. She is the author of The Forgotten Goddess, which is this wonderful book here. That is the first book. She does have a novella out.
I love the novella.
Unforgotten Flame. And then she has a new one coming out.
All my fingerprints?
On February 27th, Awakening the Forgotten Goddess. This will be book 2.
Yes. I just finished this, and it was freaking awesome. Multiple times in this book, though, we're just going to hurry and say this because I just need to get it out. Multiple times in this book, I don't know if anybody's seen originals, but when Klaus literally is screaming Rebekah, I'm like, Rebekah!
Yep.
Multiple times in this book. Multiple times.
And I agree with that. There was a lot of plot twists to this book that we didn't see coming, at least not myself.
I didn't either.
With how Rebekah had this book going, so.
I feel like I loved this one, like, from the very first moment I opened it. Especially after, like, how the last book ended.
Yeah. I would agree. I feel like with this book, for book 2, Awakening, Rebekah's writing, you can see that her writing has matured in such a short time. I mean, even with her novella, you were able to see her growth already with how she was able to like rip our hearts out. If you haven't read it, well, I don't know. There's just this is all going to be spoilers, everybody. So
yes, lots of spoilers, because how do you talk about it without actually like talking about it?
You just don't.
Yeah.
So, but like with the novella being so short, just so
it felt like a whole book though, like a whole novel. Like, I read it so fast and I was so sad.
I want more. I wanted more.
I did too.
She had our hearts in her hand. She was like, hee hee hee.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Yes.
But, yeah, just her growth in her writing just really just developed within this next book. And I'm super excited to see what she's going to do in book 3 and book 4 as well. So
am I. I feel like we were talking about it earlier and we probably should have just videoed it. But we're just like discussing things and I'm like, chills down my whole back of my arms. I get so excited just for the whole world. I feel like there's so many exciting things to like look forward to. I'm really excited to see more with the Avalon stuff. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it was nice her introducing those new fresh characters that we didn't know about in this other like realm.
Yes.
That they have, right? And the Morgan that has like the multiple different personalities, and then what was the companion's name?
Hypnos,
correct. Yep, Hypnos. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does with those, if she has them still in the next book. I know they did go back to their world.
Yeah.
So
I loved like the whole thing with Moore, how she was saying like everybody was like, oh, Moore grows on you, and I was like, yeah, she's like, I don't know how I feel about that. And then by the end, she's freaking funny. Like her and Achilles.
Yes. Yeah, their relationship.
I was like, why is it? And she's always eating. Like she's always stuffing her face. And I was like, oh my God, I relate to that so much.
But like when at the one point where she said fuck and Atlas was like, that's how you say it.
Yeah, he's like, that's how you use it in a sentence.
Yeah, like their relationship really like blossomed. And if she's not in the next book, Rebekah, like
she has to be.
Why give us
please.
that? I did have a theory, but this is for the Forgotten Flame.
We're just going to bounce around a little bit because this is just how it goes.
So in the Forgotten Flame, obviously these are spoilers if you haven't read. The Forgotten Flame is about Calypso, Achilles, and
Pat.
They have a third mate, Patroclus.
I'm just going to say Pat because I do not say it correctly. Like, I think I try to say Patroclus or something, and then it makes me think of Expecto Patronum, and it flows in my head, but it's not.
It's so true, though.
It just goes right through, and you just read right through it, and then you try to talk to somebody about these characters, and I can't say the names.
Yep, so Pat. I do have a theory that Pat is not dead, and that Pat is still alive, and that it was all a mirage of Achilles having to kill Pat.
I think it was just one of the mind mages.
Correct, because the mind mage that was killed in the first book was the one that was controlling Pat's mind in the Unforgotten Flame. So I think that it was a mirage.
What if he's just somewhere?
And I think he's going to be turned. I think the mind mage, or there is going to be a mind mage that is fucking with his brain. We're going to meet. And
like, what if there's a war or something and they bring him back and just like totally mess with them?
Correct, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Because poor Callie and Achilles have been through so much crap in the Unforgotten Flame. I loved that. Like, the Unforgotten Flame for me was like a 5-star read. I just was obsessed from cover to cover. I love Callie. Callie's been through a lot of shit.
And I agree with that, but I think that he is going to come back, and obviously they're not going to be able to do anything because they're going to be like, well, fuck, now we have to pull back because Pat's there, and it's just going to, I mean, Pat could have the power to sway Achilles and Calypso over to Ares' side.
Don't say that!
Think about it, though.
Yeah, why do you make so much sense when you say all this stuff?
But then again, we do know the knowledge from book 2 that mating bonds can be broken.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of another spoiler.
Okay, yes, okay. This floored me because I did not see it coming. So
Ares is a big old homo.
So it's Atlas, Ares, which like I could kind of like maybe see, but then it's Apollo. I was like, oh, and I'm like, no wonder Atlas is so like fatherly, or like, what's the word, like paternal or whatever.
Yeah. Like
towards Callie and Hermes.
Correct. They have that connection that I
didn't see that. That was a shock.
That we thought the connection was Atlas being fucking shady.
Okay, yeah. First book, I messaged Rebekah and I was like, what's happening? Atlas is weird. Like, it's when Rhea disappears, but she had like teleported herself out. But really they're I'm forgetting. I'm terrible at explaining things. Sometimes I have to tell Dallas and he has to put it into words for me. But it's when
the portal.
Yeah, the portal. When she goes in the portal, and what was the person's name? The dark. They call it like the Dark Titan or something, but then they find out. You know what I'm talking about. If you've read the book, you know.
No, not Kronos.
I can't remember.
I know who you're talking about.
Anyways, she's like hiding in the shadows, and she like Rhea has like a split second to like teleport herself out of there, and she like basically doesn't know what's happening. And I was like, I don't even know where I was going with this. Anyways, oh yeah, I thought Atlas was shady, and I literally messaged Rebekah and I was like, what's happening? And then I was like, oh, just kidding. I was like, actually, I'm kind of glad that he's not, but like, I was like, she's messing with us. She's gonna mess with us.
Yeah, so Rebekah's really put us on through like some plot twists and like some
like I question
emotional damage. Emotional damage. So you have to question shit with her, and I know that she's got some shit in store for us all.
Yeah. Oh, and when you find out, this whole thing's a spoiler. I just like
Teddy.
I wasn't gonna go with that, but like her aunt.
Oh, whatever.
We'll come back to Teddy.
Demeter.
Okay, Demeter pissed me off. When you find out, okay, so like first book, I'm not gonna lie, I struggled just a teensy bit with like how much anxiety Rhea has, and I'm lucky that I don't struggle with that, and I think that's why I like loved Callie so much, because I was just like, I wanted Ray to just like pick up her shit and just like fight people, like
be headstrong.
Like yes, I just wanted her to be like so headstrong, and like you would see moments of her, and then she revert back, and then you find out more things in the second book that's why that like Demeter's totally messed with her mind, and she's had like this poison, and she's just like, that's why. So anytime she would try to remember anything, it would just like give her crippling anxiety, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense.
It's true.
Yeah. And I was like, I like really wanted Rhea to just destroy her.
It's going to be interesting because obviously at the end of book 2, Demeter is going back to Avalon.
Yeah.
With Hypnose and Morgana, so it'll be
I hope they rip her apart because they called her Traitor Queen.
Correct. Well, she was the queen of the realm, right? So it'll be interesting to see what Rebekah has in store or how she's going to follow that storyline.
I hope that that's some sort of spinoff. Like, I was so interested just like in the descriptions of when Hermes falls and like Moore's there and like wraps him in the shadows and traps him, and then I was like, what's happening? And then they're like, you don't remember us. I was like, what's happening?
And I agree with the whole spinoff series. I think it'll be like, if she does it, it'll be really interesting because we only got to see glimpses of it.
Yes.
And then if she does a spinoff series or even like a little novella of it, there's going to be, we can go into the past when Hermes was there and like the gates were open and everything.
When they talk about like how Nyx and Hermes like fell through, like how she just keeps dying, and he's like, this is not the life she's gonna die, and everybody was like, this one feels different. I was like,
it does.
I love it.
And the way the book 2 ended, it does feel different from the first one.
Yeah, it does. I just feel like I'm so excited, and one thing I was really looking forward to seeing in the next book, and I remember talking to Dallas about this originally, is I just wanted to see like Rhea come into herself and be more confident and like just be more headstrong. And so I was super excited, and I felt like she was fighting like the poisons and stuff in her mind, and she like was doing like little rebellious things, and I was like, okay, here we go.
You can see it in the book too that she's gaining her confidence, that whatever Demeter did this time around, she has a different persona.
Yeah.
And it's more confident and headstrong.
Yes.
She's thinking for herself in this one.
I'm kind of a sucker for like a morally great female main character. I kind of like when they make a little bit of questionable decisions, and Rhea did a little bit in this book.
Yeah, I think book 3 will definitely get those.
So I'm excited for that because there was some things that happened, and oh man, she's got a lot of guilt, which is understandable because you go through those flashbacks with her, and I was like, oh my gosh, poor Rhea in all these lifetimes. I mean, obviously she's not called Rhea in other lifetimes.
Yeah, she's got a different name, Persephone.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gone by Nyx. Obviously, that's her.
Yeah.
That's her first.
I want to see more Nyx. Right? I'm stoked for that. But, I love it.
And then let's go back to
we're just gonna bounce.
That's fine. We're gonna go back into book 2 again. With Teddy. How did that make you feel? Because I didn't think that was gonna happen.
I called it.
You really did.
We always will like Snapchat videos because we need to see each other's faces back and forth. And I'm sitting here reading the book, and I think I was like in my robe, just like curled up on the couch, and I was like, she's gonna freaking kill Teddy off. And I was so upset because when she first meets him and she goes into the kitchen, and you're like, she has that little moment with the bodyguards where you're like, are they gonna help her? And you're like, what's going to happen? So she goes in, and there's this little boy eating, like, I think it was like Fruit Loops or something. And he's like 8 years old. And I was like, oh, like, he's so cute and everything. And I was so mad. I was like, and then I was like, oh, this is why there was tissues in the box. I'm like, no.
Nope. And I think going off the Teddy thing, the whole thing when Nyx ended up taking over and her releasing all the shifters into their natural forms instead of being stuck in the wolf form.
That was my favorite part in the book.
It gives you chills. Like, I'm just even talking about it. It's like full body chills.
When she was like, oh, I'm going to actually one-up you. We're not going to turn everybody into wolves. We're going to turn them into their true forms.
Correct.
And when you have like the lioness and all the different, I couldn't take it. I was like, this is so cool.
Teddy's aunt, like with the twins and everything like that, the bears, and stuff like that. Like, I think that was such an epic and well-written moment in this series.
There was just so much detail of all the different animals and
shifters.
all the different forms, and I love all the shifter stuff. I thought that was really cool, especially like mixed in with like the Greek mythology.
Yeah, and like I said, it was well written, that scene, like with everybody changing and going into looking at everybody's different
everybody's like, who is
like,
everybody?
They're just all like thrown off, and they have that natural instinct in them now that is just like, what the fuck?
Okay, but did you also love that a lot of them reverted to the goddess's side?
Oh,
and did you see like Lucas? Did you see him switching over?
So there was. So even in the first book at the end, where you get met Lucas, where it's just his wolf form comes out, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's not in the battle; he's just standing there, and it's like, okay, well,
like
maybe is he like the general, like the head honcho? But then I don't know. But I didn't really see him like taking and switching sides to go and help Hermes.
I didn't either, and I loved that. I thought that was interesting because you got multiple different like points of view,
POVs.
And I love that sometimes because it gives you a little bit of insight. And sometimes I feel like very easily sometimes it can ruin things, and that did not happen.
No, yeah, Rebekah
I felt like
handled
it was really exciting.
Well. She handled it really well. So, yeah, I'm just super excited for this series.
So am I.
Book 2 comes out on February 27th, just for everybody. So that's 2 weeks away from tomorrow. So congratulations, Rebekah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so excited for the whole world of everything. Like, I feel like she's just jam-packed so much, like, world building and all of these characters that there's just so much to build upon. Like, there's just going to be... I'm excited.
Agreed.
Like, I hope we get books of, like, some different people or, like, prequels.
Everywhere with it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yes.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah. I mean...
This was a great first episode, I think. So.
Here we go. I mean, I looked earlier and it was like 6 minutes and now
we're at 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm Dallas.
I'm Carly.
And this is Shut the Smut Up.